but like, there's a defined end goal in mind. And I feel that that is necessary for me to do, because what we have, I'm so excited about, and it is legitimately so valuable, but I don't like doing that. I like to just just go and share what I'm doing. And no, this has a general format, but it's not a fixed, rigid structure by any stretch of the imagination. So welcome to the Closers Cafe, Wednesday morning, January 7th. I shared this yesterday on our Lead Deck Founders Club Mastermind, and I thought it was good enough that I should share it again here. So some of you are hearing this for the second time and in 12 hours or whatever, but there are so many words that we use or hear that we don't even really understand what the meaning of those words are. And I shared another one yesterday, like the concept or the idea of priorities. You can't have priorities. I mean, the whole idea of a priority is one thing, right? So to have one major focus, and then it's convoluted. Anyway, the root meaning of decide. I heard this a couple of months ago, and I never really thought about what deciding actually means. So it comes from the root Latin word decidere, and I'm sure I'm butchering that, but you get the idea. And it literally means to cut off, to cut off. So when you decide, what you're deciding is to cut away all the things that don't support that decision. And that sounds cool, but like, how do you make that practical? And an example I shared yesterday, which might be relevant and maybe not, but I'm going to share regardless, is there is a very popular sports podcast that I would say I had kind of become addicted to listening to. And they would put out 4 or 5 hours worth of content a day, if not 4 or 5, 3 or 4. And I had become like addicted to it. And I told myself the story, well, it's not really hurting my production and my ability to do what's actually important, which is the stuff that I'm doing now, and then, obviously my family and etc. And I decided late summer, early fall, to cut that out. I just have stopped listening altogether. It was like cold turkey. It was like smoking and then just deciding I have decided that I'm stopped smoking. I had decided I was going to stop with my obsession in that podcast. And I would say, not so coincidentally, since that decision and cutting that off, my business from what has happened from that point on has been pretty remarkable. As far as number of closed transactions, number of deals in escrow, the fact that we built Lead Deck from the ground up in that same window of time as well. And by we, I mean Sean built it, but I told him like, hey, it'd be cool if I could take all of these Frankenstein different things that I'm paying for and using, all of these, these 9 steps and these 4 different ways that can we put that into one thing? And all of that happened. So there is probably something that you have been waiting to decide on, or maybe you're like on the teetering of deciding. And what is holding you back from actually making the decision and then getting a result from that is deciding what you need to cut out or cut off. I'll give another example, and then I promise I'll move on, and we've got it. I've got a couple of good things here to dig into. So I cut that off. The other thing I decided, this was more recently, I like craft beers, specifically IPAs. I know it's like very, I don't know, like I'm the stereotypical craft beer, whatever, like I realize that I'm fitting like a stereotype there, but I actually like them. But I haven't decided, it's not like I've decided to go dry for this year. And for those that do, like, this is no judgment or anything. I'm just giving you another tangible example in my life for that. I have decided I am not purchasing any beer. There will not be any beer in my home in a refrigerator. Now, that does not mean I won't have an occasional beer, because I went out for dinner with Pam, the first date night that we have had in literally months, on Saturday night, and I had one. And so for me, that's enough. Like one every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, when we get to go out to, on a date night. But I've decided not to have it in my house because it's not in my house. I can't be tempted by it. It's just reality, right? And when I decided to get rid of to stop listening to that podcast, I deleted it from my phone. I deleted, like, I didn't want it. If it's there, I'm like, I got 10 minutes. And then, 4 hours later, I'm like, I listened to all of that and didn't do productive stuff, So what do you, and if you're, if you're open to this, if there is something that you have decided either right now or recently, and with that decision to cut something else out, go ahead and share it in the chat. I think that would be great. And if if that's too uncomfortable for you, I get it, but I don't know. Decide. Decadary. I wanted to share this as well, because this is how I feel like these sessions have been the last couple of days, right? What people think success looks like. It's a straight line in this direction. And the last few days have felt like this. And if I'm being honest, not just the last few days, the last few months. And yet it's all moving, generally speaking, in the right direction. This is also not exactly, but this is similar to what flight paths look like. It's not a straight line. Like there's navigation that's happening at all times. Now, I guess some of that is happening, with robots and AI or whatever, but you get the point, right? So it's okay for things to feel messy as long as you have the right direction. Like where this could go wrong is if this destination point is the wrong destination point for you, right? Or the ladder that you're climbing is up against the wrong building, right? So I thought that would be good. And then the last thing, sort of mindset wise, before I actually get into just doing the work and we can open lines and whatever. One conversation can drastically change your business. Put another way, you are potentially one conversation away from a totally different business, or at least a significant amount of success, which then could increase your confidence, which then also the more confident you are, the more action you will take. The more action you will take, the more competent you become. The more competent you become, right? And confident, like those are married together. What am I talking about? So I've shared this. This is a terrible drawing, but whatever. This is a hand drawing that I made, and I include in our presentation, the free live workshop that I've been offering, onedealaweek.com. And I picked up this client late summer. His name is Steve. It came from a text message, an automated, just like the automated pre-populated text messages that I was sending yesterday, which if Stuart's on here, Stuart had asked for some clarification on how that works. I'll get to that this morning as well. So Steve responded to a text, and the text was this text. It's what I shared yesterday. I've been using it for months now, right? Which is another principle. Like when you find something that works, instead of getting distracted and looking for the next thing, find as many ways possible to use the thing that you know works. And simple scripts that work, use them until they don't. And the script is, hey, Steve, would you consider selling, in this case, your vacant land at street address to a private client of mine? I built a relationship with Steve. I sold his vacant land, a building lot. I sold a 2-unit for him off market. He took those proceeds and closed on land in December. So the vacant land settled in November. I think the 2-unit did as well. He bought land in December. That was over $20,000 in GCI because of the way I proposed to sell his vacant land. Was very profitable for me. And I sold the 2-unit. It was almost a $300,000 transaction. And he bought vacant land that was almost $300,000, or I think he paid $270,000. Steve has also referred me Arliss. And I will most likely be selling a parcel of property for him in the first quarter here. And that 2-unit that I sold, I used as bait, 3-step process. Find a deal, use it as bait to reach out to the active investor buyers and then find them what they're looking for. Levi is the off-market buyer, the unrepresented buyer that bought this 2-unit. Mike Levi Fisher. He's Mennonite, or he might be, I should know this being here. I can't remember if he's Mennonite or Amish. Doesn't matter. The point is, here's the actual point. So yesterday, late in the day, Mike calls me. I've even though I didn't represent him, technically, he was an unrepresented buyer. So like I wrote up the paperwork, et cetera, and we've developed, a bit of a relationship. He owns other properties, et cetera. He calls me yesterday, left me a voicemail. I can't text him. I can't email him. So I'm going to call him back here on the live stream because he has a cell phone and he can make calls and receive calls, but not text or email, whatever. No judgment. It seems like arbitrary lines that are drawn, but regardless. He called me yesterday because he has a 2-unit that he wants to sell. Okay. This is an example of this in practice. Like it wasn't a linear thing. It started here, but then it's all over. And what I will do is, regardless of if or when we list the property, I am absolutely going to use that as bait to get more potential clients as well. And then one thing leads to another. And either when I'm reaching out to multifamily investors, they either want to buy more or they want to sell more. I mean, it's just reality. Like there's very little instances where they're not looking to do something. So game plan for this morning. That already lasted longer than I would hope. I already did the text bump that I was supposed to do yesterday. That things got messy and I got busy and didn't get to. That text bump was a follow-up to the email that I scheduled on Monday. So email, text bump, and then the seller dashboard money email, which I'm going to wait to send that until tomorrow morning because I want to give time for the text bump to work, because one of the goals or the results of that is more of the people that got the email will go and look at their go find the email, click the link, and check out their dashboard. And this last piece of the puzzle, the 3-step process, is where the money is found. Like it's where that turns into listings or off-market deals, etc. So I actually sent the bump text to about 2,000 people while I hopped on here early, and I sent that. And I'm already getting a bunch of replies. So let's start there, because then I can show what the bump text looks like. And I'll just demonstrate the work that happens from those, which is, more conversations. So I got a bunch of stops. Look at this, bunch of stops. Do I care even a little bit? I do not. And also, does that mean, Mike, I'll check his name. I know Mike personally. He's funny. Does that mean that if they unsubscribe to text that they'll never do business with me? No. That is one communication channel, and they just may not want me in that channel. It doesn't mean, now some it does mean that they don't want me. But don't just assume that because they said stop, that you should delete them entirely from your CRM. I don't delete people from my CRM unless they are completely unsubscribed, meaning there is no communication channel that I have that I can communicate with them. If they unsubscribe to text and email, and those are the only things I have for them, then I will delete them. Otherwise, I don't delete them. I've had lots of examples of people that have said stop in here that I've done transactions with. They just didn't want what they perceived as automated text messages or business text messages, but when they're ready, they call or they email. Like that's just what they're choosing. Okay. So side note, Lisa said, got it. Awesome. Thanks for confirming. You guys getting sick of the cold yet? So I know I've talked with Lisa and Al, I think is the husband, a number of times over the last 12 or 18 months, and they really want to move to Florida. I think specifically, what is that big community down there? Somebody knows what I'm.
The Villages?
Yes, that's where they want to. They want to move there. They almost pulled the trigger last winter. I can't remember why they didn't, but when the time is right, I will definitely help them sell this property. And I think if you work down there, I think I already referred them to or gave them 2 agent referrals down there. So as much as I would like to refer, I think I already have done that. Mike Hancock is someone I know personally. For years now, he's been one of Caden's baseball coaches. His son is in class with my one daughter, etc. So I'll reply to him, but I'm not like this. That one is just, there's not much to be had there. LOL. Let me double check. Wink. Whatever. Something like that. I don't know why this didn't. Hold on. Let me see here. There it is. Great gift game. Let me double check. Wink. Whatever. Something like that. And he's I know he's not moving anytime soon, right? But it's a way to remind him that when he hears or sees someone talking about buying, selling, or investing, think of me, think of Josh. Cindy says, I did not get that. So here is where the opportunity is. This bump text serves a couple of functions. Number one, it gets more people to go and find your emails. You're literally training people to look for your emails. And when they find it, more of them will then click engage with the dashboard. And then I have more people to then follow up with step 3, which is where the money is really made. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2 is you can get better data. And number 3 is directly conversations, right? Like you're directly having more conversations. So where I'm saying get better data, let's look at here and see. So, sorry about that. Looks like we sent it to your Gmail address. Maybe it went to the spam or junk folder. Okay. So, and when that's the case, there will be lots of people, and I've had this happen lots of times. That's why I can say confidently that there will be lots of people. They go find it in their spam or junk folder, and then they mark you not spam, which also increases the likelihood that whenever their motivation hits their motivation hits a tipping point, that they will work with you. Okay. I'm going to do a few more of these, but then, well, we'll see. I want to get into a couple of other more tactical things, or it's kind of boring to watch me do the same thing, I guess is my point. So we got to stop here. Phil, I'll be Courtney. I'll let you know what happens. Hopefully judge rules. Okay. I had talked to Phil like a week or 2 ago. Got it. Thanks for the update. Keep me posted. It's kind of a messy situation. I don't think it's a divorce. I think they bought a house together, but they weren't married, and it's just a messy situation. I don't own that house. I was living with my son. Gotcha. Still there, or it's literally just, it's just doing the work. What email did you send it to? John S. So I'll copy that email. Is that the best one for you? What I wish there was a better way in here, and this is just illustrating a fact that is fact. This is an opinion. There is no perfect CRM. I wish I could just filter out the stops So I could only be looking at the people that I need to actually spend time. Please just send your name like Pat Doe. So this must be someone who, I don't know. Who is this? This must be they must be using some sort of automated. Yeah, this phone number must be like a Zillow automated. Oh, hot pads. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Next. Not selling anytime soon. Got it. Thanks, Tony. Totally get that. If or when anything changes, let me know. Okay, if we continue to keep you updated on values and what homes in the area are selling for. Area. I didn't get the email. So what was he getting email? This is an investor that I had lunch with or coffee with recently. So I didn't get the email. Can you resend is what he said. Probably in your spam junk folder /junk folder. Michelle, go ahead.
Hey, Josh, quick question. What made you choose Bold Trail versus GHL?
Bold Trail's included with our tech fee at EXP, and I've been using it for years and years. And I've tried other stuff. I have been I've tried lots of stuff. I haven't personally used Lofty, but I've been in a Lofty account. We've created campaigns in there, etc. It's great, but it also has limitations. I've used Follow Up Boss. Okay. It's great. It has limitations. For me, it came back to, because I've had this account now since like 2020, Bold Trail. And I just keep coming back to it. Is it the best? No. I don't know what the best is, honestly. I don't even know how to answer that. But for me, the fact that I can broadcast text message, broadcast email message, and it has the direct IDX feed, so I can have people on search alerts and market reports, etc. That's just where I've landed. I do also use Go High Level, but I use a Go High Level account for cold outreach or cold outbound only. This is for people that have either opted in or engaged or done something that has indicated some amount of intent. It may be people that I've collected over the years through Facebook advertising or, so I didn't do this on Monday, but the guy that I talked to, the Phil investor, probably because we haven't established enough rapport for me to do this, but I will then add someone like that to here as another, layer of insurance that they are seeing my name repeatedly. So I use Go High Level for cold outreach, and I'll show an example of that tomorrow morning because I do reverse prospecting in there. So when I have a new listing, I will send all of the agents that have a client that their search criteria fits, and I'll use that because I have it and I have a system for it. And in a lot of cases, it's several hundred agents. And I think it's worth your time to do that manually if you don't have any other way to do it. But I have a way to do it that I've done it enough that I know it is effective. So like it's a marrying of effective and efficient, and that's where I've landed with that. So really long answer. It's in part because I've been using it for a long time. There is also, I'll take a minute here to just rant a little bit. There is a fallacy in business. This isn't like a realtor thing. This is just a business thing in general. that that if I just switch to this new cool thing, that will solve all my problems. And also, what I am certain about that is a couple of things. Number one, the cost to switch is significant. And if you don't factor in that cost and compare it against what is the uplift that will gain. In other words, what is the risk reward of making this switch? If I switch from Bold Trail to Lofty, how long is that going to take? What is the pain associated with that switch? And how fast will I see a tangible net positive result to my bottom line from making that switch? And it's a way, it's something that, and listen, this is me talking to myself here and reminding myself, don't do this stuff. But like it's a way that we convince ourselves that this is good for the business. And yet that actual switching doesn't actually, like the cost that you incur in the switching, you oftentimes will lose business in that process to hopefully gain business on the other side of that pain of the switching. So if you're going to make a switch like that, you had better be incredibly certain that it's not going to get you an incremental gain, that it's going to get you an exponential gain. Otherwise, just do the work. It's most likely you're just avoiding the actual work to get more. And again, you meaning me. Like I'm talking to myself, not all of you, because I need to be reminded of this as much as anyone in the world, because I will convince myself, even after that rant, there will be something next week that has me thinking, should I switch the way I'm doing this? The tool I'm using for this thing, maybe that'll, and just, no, you shouldn't. Just do more work. Just get back to the work. I'm going to do a couple more here. Never got any numbers yet. Okay. Well, that's a problem. I talked to Joe. Really? I've emailed you a number of times, and I should have copied his email first. Oops. Campbell, go ahead while is this the best email for you?
I'll wait till you're done, buddy.
If so, it's likely in your spam junk folder. Go ahead, Campbell.
Three things all related to Deal Deck. First off, I pulled a new target list this morning. It showed me 10 leads, but it only pulled 5 of the 10. Is that because the other 5 didn't have appropriate data, or is that a glitch in the system? Because I've had that happen twice where it said it was going to pull 10.
Can you record that? Could you record that for Sean? I don't know what without more context, I don't want to inaccurately.
So just send him a quick video of what has happened, or run it again and see what happens.
Just a quick video of what has happened. He should be able to figure it out from the target audience that you ran and what you have in there. He should be able to figure it out.
Yeah, there were 238 or so available, so it wasn't that there was a lack of them. Number 2, can you have Sean adjust the system so that I will phrase this very carefully. So regardless of status, the text button still works when we're in the app if we want to send somebody a message?
I'm not going to do that because that creates liability for us. You can still, so that said, we are not going to make it easy to send pre-populated text messages if they're on the DNC. We're just not going to. That creates potential liability for us, and I'm just not willing to assume that liability. However, I'm trying to find one here. Okay, this is on the DNC. Hold on, let me stop my screen share so it shows bigger. This number is on the DNC. If you hold it, you can still tap to send a message. It just won't pre-populate the message because again, we're not going to assume that liability of someone saying, you didn't make it clear that I shouldn't be messaging people that are on the DNC, and the pre-populating of the text, we're only going to, so here's, is Stuart on here? Because I wanted to address this for Stuart, but this.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so here is one that is a mobile number that is not on the DNC. So if I tap, it immediately pre-populates whatever is the same, the saved message in your profile. So in this case, this is a buyer lead. In other words, they're an investor buyer contact. So it is pulling the investor buyer script, which does not have merged in fields like the seller one does. This I make specific when I'm doing the outreach to a cash buyer deck or a multifamily buyer deck or a landlord buyer deck or even a vacant land buyer deck. So that's how that, and it works the same for email. If I tap to email, that is a pre-populated message that I can edit under my profile and have it pull right in. You can merge fields in those pre-populated text and emails, just like you can merge fields in a CRM template, etc. It's one of, like I had, we had somebody that was on the workshop yesterday, and she was asking something about like, what's the dialer cost? And I said, we don't have a dialer because you can tap to call, text, and email. Like, you don't have a dialer. There's no, it negates the necessity for a dialer. And I understand like some dialers, multi-line dialing, but let's be honest, like there is potentially some gray area there on legality and so forth and robocalling, because look, the laws on robocalling are pretty clear. And if you're dialing 3 people at once or 6 people at once, and then you hang up on or leave a voicemail on the ones that don't answer, like, to me, I've never, that's I've never used a dialer, but anyway, that.
Just to follow up with that, Josh, and is that part of the lead deck system? Because I didn't notice that in the one time I was looking for some investors and used the platform.
Well, what do you mean you didn't know? Like,
well, that was my confusion yesterday when you showed that. I didn't know if you were just sending a regular, Gmail or something like that.
That is one of the main functionalities and features of it. Like that was one of the things I told Sean early. If we're doing this, we have to make it as easy as possible for people to get these communications out. And here's how I figured that out, because I manually did it for long enough to figure out what worked, and then said, here is messaging that I know has worked for me doing it manually. Let's automate it to whatever degree we can. So
got it. Okay.
So the messages, here.
Signed up, for the free account, had the 100 credits, and I had this condo. I still have this condo, with a tenant in there. I think I even chatted with you a little bit about that. I was trying to read out some investors.
So if you go to profile and scripts, that's where those scripts live. And there's at the outbound scripts, Sean is actually going to add seller to this. So it's clear that that's the seller target scripts, and you can edit those there. This already has pre-populated fields. So you can have first name, street address. There are other pre-populated placeholders, but honestly, you don't need them. Like those two are the logical ones. And you can edit. I honestly, I only ever do the email and text, if I'm being honest, like the first version of those, because I usually do that and then I'm busy. Like I'm just, I'm in conversation or generating or getting to work, doing the work. And then the buyer scripts. This is one that I edit. Like this one, I don't think you have to edit too often. Meaning, like if you have it standard out of the box, it will work. I've used it enough to know that like that communication works. Now, right now I have this winter. The edit would be, in the next 30 to 90 days, if you want it to be evergreen, or you just have to know that, okay, before I do that, just double check what I'm sending out. And honestly, the double check is you tap to email and you're like, oh crap, it says the winter and it's now, March 21st. So I should say this spring, right? The one that I edit routinely, in fact, like anytime I'm doing a session that is buyer specific, I absolutely edit this, because if I'm reaching out to buyers, it's about a deal. And I want to communicate in there some, I don't want it to sound generic. So I want it to be specific to the deal that I'm reaching out about. Is it an off-market deal? Is it an on-market deal? Is it a bank-owned? Is it a fixer-upper? Is it a foreclosure? Is it a whatever? What's going on that I can use as a reason or a way to create curiosity in the recipient enough that they're going to reply and say, what's up? What do you got? So
the first step for these people is to call them, correct?
For the buyers,
the buyers that are looking for property,
I do
want to have a physical conversation.
Yeah, I do.
And then drop back to text or email if you can't get a hold of them.
Yeah, I do. Yep, totally.
That was what I thought.
Now, but I will say for some of you, look, I know no matter how much I try to, beat the drum, beat my chest, whatever, about call first, you can still text and email and get a lot of response. But if you call, then text and email, like I called 6 on Monday morning, the 6th guy, Phil, he answered. Only one of the other ones replied, but like all told, that took me 7 minutes maybe to call, text, and email 6 of the buyers in a deck. And I got Phil live that said, hey, what do you got? I'm always looking for deals. And then Richard later that morning replied and said, what do you got? All
Thanks for going over that, Josh.
Yeah, you bet.
The visual learner in me, that was very helpful.
Yeah, no problem. I get it. And it also helps us to understand where are we dropping the ball on demonstrating, how things work and what the value proposition is. I mean, I'll be honest, like for many folks, just making it easier to get those communications out to start the conversations, like that alone is, it's a huge time saver, whether you're doing it or you have someone on your team doing it. I'll mention this. I have a buddy of mine. He's having his mortgage guy do the outreach to to the active landlord buyers. That's where he's going to start anyway. Because the guy asked Jason, hey, do you have leads that I can follow up on? I'm sitting here in the office all day. And this is not a guy. This is a mega mortgage producer. This is someone who has been in the industry for a long time. And I don't know what his volume was for 2025, but it was like significant. So, he's got time and Jason is giving him his access so he can tap and talk and text and so forth. All right. I got a whole bunch more replies here. And I'm going to return back to those. But I have some calls to make that are a little bit more urgent than just getting back to people on text. I say that, and I also know that I have a lot of evidence that the sooner you get back to people replying on text, the better. But I don't want to wait any longer to call Mike, who called me and left me a voicemail last night about his 2 unit that he wants to sell, if you missed the beginning of this. So that was from this my fun little hand-drawn diagram there. So I'm going to call Mike now and try and get him to agree to list his 2 unit with me or bring him a buyer off market. And he probably won't answer, to be honest, but I at least want to acknowledge that I got his voicemail and that I'm on it.
Forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. You've reached Mike Manneman Fisher. Leave a message. Thanks. Is not available.
This is exhilarating.
Please record your message. When you hang up or
I wish I could just get it. If they're not going to answer, just go write the voicemail.
callback number, press 5.
Mike, good morning. It's Josh. I got your voicemail last night. Give me a call back when you have a minute. I pulled comps. I have a pretty good idea of where I think we should land on it. And I also, we have a tool that we use to pull the active buyers that might be interested. And I pulled those numbers for that specific zip code as well. And I can go over all of that with you, see what you're thinking and when you're ready to roll on it. Just let me know. And I know you mentioned, I definitely, I won't email that other email that we had communicated on before. If there is a way that I can send some of that comparable data to you by email, if you have some other way, great. If not, we can just go over it when you call me back. Thanks. So somewhat self-serving. I did want to include one of the reasons why I wanted to do that now is to show. So he has a 2-unit that he wants to sell. I don't care if I list it or not, because I'll do the work of selling it regardless. And I know I have certainty around the fact that if I reach out to these 24 active multifamily buyers in this zip code, I guarantee I can get 3 to 5 of them to make an offer. Guaranteed. I probably won't get past 10, if I'm being honest. Now, after I talk with Mike, I will reach out to all 24 because it illustrates this, again, that success happens like this. So I'll reach out to those 24 about his 2-unit. And whether or not we decide to list it, I will reach out while it's still off market, because that is a reason or a story for me to reach out. I'm reaching out to you before we actively list it, to see if we can come up with a deal that makes sense for him before we go live on the market. The reason I'll reach out to all 24 of those is the other thing I can almost guarantee is some number greater than 0 of them will probably have a property that they would like to sell also. And when I call and demonstrate that I am proactively reaching out to them without any client relationship or anything to try and bring them value, they will go out of their way to reach out to me. What you couldn't hear in the call yesterday from Sam, which Campbell actually caught, if you were here on the Closers Cafe, we revisited this later in the day on our Founders Club Mastermind, and Campbell caught something that Sam said that I didn't catch because I couldn't remember who Sam was. And then Campbell caught something that Sam had said in that conversation that I didn't hear. And then I realized immediately who it was. And 2 reasons I share that. This guy lives in a house that looks like an office building. It's multi-generational, et cetera. And Campbell said, did you hear him? He said he has a 35,000 square foot house. When he said that, I knew exactly who Sam was, because the house is literally that way. It's less than a mile if I walk straight. It's not in my neighborhood, but it like backs to my neighborhood. And we've laughed for years because we would drive in that neighborhood to look at Christmas lights. And we're like, this thing is like, why is there an office building in this like luxury community? Anyway, the reason why I'm sharing that is he was saying in there how like I've worked with other, you couldn't hear this side of the conversation because the 2-party permission or whatever. Like I don't want to ask for people like, are you okay with me live streaming this conversation? So there's no problem with sharing my side of the conversation. But he was saying to me, or complimenting me on being hardworking and like basically more proactive than a lot of the other agents that he has worked with. And he's saying that to me when he called me. And I didn't even know who he was. Like, I couldn't even remember who he was. Like, I had him saved in my phone, but I just wasn't connecting the dots. Anyway, my point is, by reaching out to those 24, this type of audience, they respect when you're proactively bringing them opportunities. There might be a little uncomfortable moment at the beginning of it, but when they realize that like you're a pro, right? Like it's just a different scenario. So my point is, regardless of what happens with my guy Mike Fisher, I'm going to reach out to these 24 because I can guarantee there will be, even if Mike changes his mind and doesn't sell the 2 unit, I'll end up with more business. Guaranteed. Anyway, what else did I have before we wrap today? Go ahead.
And Josh, when you're reaching out, are you using the automated emails and text, or are you also calling?
I call them first. If I'm reaching out to buyers, I call first, then I send a text, then I email. There may be something to say for doing it slightly differently. I haven't tested it, but I think there's like logical evidence that this might make more sense. Text first, then call, because if I send a text to Harry that says, "Hey, Harry, this is Josh with eXp Realty," and then I call, depending on their provider and their phone, it will say, or could say, potentially Josh Shanley, eXp Realty, versus potential spam or scam call. I haven't done that, but now that I'm saying it out loud, I'll do that as a test. I don't know how. My problem with testing that is I won't know how to say like if it works better or not, because like it's an impossible thing to split test. It would be anecdotal at best, but it's worth trying. And because you can tap to text and tap to email, like, who cares? And I guess part of the reason why I would start with the phone calls is if I talk to them, then I don't have to do the tap to text or tap to email. So I don't know. That's one where there's probably more than one right answer. Harry.
I just wanted to ask you, what's the best email for Mike Smith so I can get him to do the webhooks to GHL?
Yep. Was there a second question, or was that?
That's it for me.
Okay, I thought for some reason the way you framed it, I thought maybe there was a second one. Okay, so I'm going to share
Josh,
this.
You are correct about that. On the iPhone, if you send them a text and just put your name Josh in it, when it comes up, it'll say maybe Josh. That's the way Apple does that.
Yeah, another reason why Apple is superior. Topic for another day. Sorry. I put Mike Smith's email in the chat. And if you are a Founders Club member and need help with setting up any integrations or even if you're not in the Founders Club, Mike is an incredible integrator, meaning he's very well versed on CRM platforms and things like Zapier and Thanks.io, et cetera. And he can do a lot of the work that makes our eyes glaze over very quickly and effectively and efficiently. So for very small cost, he charges, he'll either, if you have a project like that, he'll either quote you a number if it's like a custom project, or if it's something that he's routinely doing, he'll just charge by the hour. If you're a Founders Club member, he will do that, and we pay for him. So like if you want to get Lead Deck hooked up with your GHL or your Bold Trail or whatever, he won't charge you for that. He'll charge us, and we cover that.
Thank you.
You bet. Let's see. What else do I have on my messy list for the day. Well, I'm going to call Sam back because part of what he was asking for yesterday, I want to get clarity on. And so Sam is the investor that called me yesterday. And he mentioned a number of things. So I ended up texting him a building lot. This one I texted, and then we went under contract on that last night. So yay. So I'll have to tell him that. This is one that he was also, oh, that's what it was. I must have messaged him on a different phone number or email about this property, which I am listing. That was a turnkey rental. In other words, the current owners were renting it. It was a new town. They bought it new and they just rented it, and they've rented it, and it's time to sell. I won't get into why, but it's time for them to sell it. And in our discussion, me with the current owner, I mentioned that I have at least one client that might be interested, and I could probably go and find the other active landlords that have bought properties like this, i.e. newer townhomes in this area. And so I did that. And he must have, there was something he said yesterday that just connected the dot in my brain that he must have gotten a message from something other than his personal cell phone, because I didn't send it to him on his cell phone. And that was the reason why he called. It also was probably a reason why he mentioned that, like, why he was giving me praise essentially for working hard. So I want to call him to confirm that he got that info, and I need to ask him a clarifying question about another thing he had asked me. Sam, it's Josh Shanley. How are you? Of course. I just wanted to clarify one thing from yesterday. Yep, absolutely. Perfect. He's in a meeting. I love when people like, I guess when you're someone like him, he owns several businesses and a lot of properties. Like, you answer just in case it's really an emergency. And then, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you back. Like, he could have just not answered and called me back, but whatever. It's probably part of why he's successful, because he answers his phone.
How old is he?
Definitely 60s or 70s.
There's some, people who grew up when phones were like.
Yeah, it's
different.
like, oh, the wall phone's ringing. This must be important. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
I think that is part of it.
Yep, no doubt. All right.
Josh, quick question.
Yeah.
Being of that generation myself, I can say that.
Go ahead, Campbell.
Okay, I'm getting ready to dive into phone calls. I have had one of my clients reach out to me. We're meeting on Saturday. They've got 2 homes side by side that he's a contractor, completely renovated top to bottom, perfect for somebody looking for rental property. So I pulled leads of people who own multiple rental properties, and I'm going to go on and start calling them while we're doing this. I've not seen the properties yet, but I know his quality of work because he's done work for our clients before. So I know it's been aced out. Everything's been done. What strategy would you take when you start calling these people? And when you see someone like I've got in one of my lead decks that owns 5,545 properties. That's what they own.
So
Guys out of
that
Texas.
one, I mean, that's got to be a hedge fund or something like that. So the contact info on that, it'll be interesting how that conversation goes. I don't think there's any harm in at least trying that, but I wouldn't hold your breath on something, on being able to connect with the right person the first time, though it would make sense or it would be worthwhile to connect with whoever might be the person that you should talk to with them. What does it say is the owner on that?
The guy's name is Kenta, and I'm going to say his last name.
Well,
is
don't,
Japanese.
no need to, but it's
Yeah.
saying a personal name there. So it could
Personal
be,
name.
well, I'm curious where that goes. the strategy I would take, and you answered some of it in there. So I would reach out and say, I'm calling because it looks like you own a number of rental properties in the area, whatever area that is, and I have a duplex that's available off market that I thought you might be interested. Are you looking for any deals right now, or know anyone who might be? And if the conversation goes farther, I would be as transparent about some of the things that you said. In other words, if they ask, well, what's the deal? What do you got? I would say, I haven't seen it in person yet, but I know this builder very well, and I have no doubt that the quality is impeccable. I'm going this Saturday. If you would like, I can put you on my short list of people to send more info once I have that in-person experience. And I would take a bunch of photos, so you have that as something to send. And then I would essentially use this as an opportunity to build a VIP buyer list for the property, that when you have those additional details, you can then follow up with them Monday or Saturday. But for me, it would be Monday morning. I would follow up with them, and I would say, hey, we chatted last week. As promised, I wanted to send you more information or details. When I do that, meaning when I go and preview a property like what we're describing, I get as many photos as I can from my iPhone, like 60 to 70. And if it's a duplex, maybe more. Okay.
These are not duplex, they're single family.
Oh, okay. Regardless, I get a bunch of photos because I don't want to have to, if I'm going there once, I don't want to have to go back out if I can avoid it. Now, at some point, if I end up listing it, whatever. But like I'm saying, short term, I want to try and be as proactive as possible in that first time there. I will get all those photos. I will immediately, while I'm in my car after the appointment or the preview, whatever you want to call it, in my car, I will create a photo album on Google Photos. So Photos, Google Photos, not this one, not that one, that one. Okay. You can do whatever you want, but that's how I do it. I use Google Photos. I create an album with the address. I upload all those photos, and that way I have something that I can share that no one else, it's my own, proprietary. The other reason I take all those photos is if we do end up submitting it with an institutional buyer, a quick buy, a Zoom Casa, whatever, then I have those because I'm going to need those anyway for that process as well. I will not, if I end up listing it, I'm going to pay I will pay the professional photography company that I use here locally. So at that point, those photos may not be relevant, but that's just the flow that I follow. Does that help? I know, Harry, you have your hand up, but Campbell, does that help? And is there any other clarifying questions?
Followed there. Are you an Amazon Prime member?
Yeah.
Do you know that you have unlimited photo storage on Amazon, and you can do the exact same thing and create albums and share? That's how I do it, because you're never going to run out of space. They literally give you unlimited. Just download the Amazon Photo app on your iPhone, and it will back everything up, and you'll never lose them.
I was this many days old when I learned that, Campbell. I feel like I should post on Facebook. I was this many days old when I realized that I'm not fully utilizing my Amazon Prime membership.
It's a free mini that you can use. What we do when Beth and I go to a house like that, she does the still image, and I use Cubicasa. Do you get Cubicasa free with your MLS?
I don't know. Does anybody know that?
You do.
We do?
Yeah,
Bright, okay.
With Bright, you do.
Okay.
Cubicasa, you need to learn about it.
My goodness, man. I'm learning all kinds of stuff here. Okay, I'm downloading Cubicasa. I
absolutely want to do it because, Josh, what I just did for one of the houses we're listing tomorrow, we're going today to drop off the sign. I've already recorded the Cubicasa. And I've got AI writing right there. Just download it, and you use your MLS ID to get in. And it is the neatest thing you've ever seen. It will do a 3D walkthrough of the house. You literally walk through with your iPhone with the camera on. It tells you what angle to shoot, Don't walk too fast. Make sure the floor stays in view. Absolutely. Amazon Photo right there. Free benefit. Then what you do, you have AI custom write a song about the listing that you're doing. And then you send it to Suno and have them put it to music. And then you have a song that's sung about the house to use for marketing, telling the story of the house with the walkthrough. You can either do it with no furniture in the house, their actual furniture, or Cubicasa will put furniture in it.
Can it like mimic Morgan Wallen? Because that'd get me.
You can say you want country, but they have literally taken away the ability to reference any star. When they first started, you could say sound like Morgan Wallace, or you could say sound like Garth, and they would sing exactly that way.
Yeah.
But they realized they were going to get sued out of existence, so they now limit it to country music, male voice. You can do describing like that.
Beautiful. That's great.
Yeah.
Great shares, Campbell. Love it. So Amazon Prime Photos. I also have a paid, like I have a lot of storage on Google Photos, but I'm not using any of that Prime. So like I'll probably shift that because photos do take up a lot of
Well, here's
cloud
my tip
space.
to you. You can't store unlimited videos on Amazon Prime. So save your Google Drive for your videos and put all your photos up there. That way you get more Benny for what you're buying from Google. Because I got the same thing. I have a workspace account. So you pay for your storage.
Yeah, that's a great shout.
Yeah.
Harry, go ahead. Sorry.
So I was going to say for Campbell, you could do a dub video too while you're there. Give him
Absolutely.
because I know you're a dub guy.
Yep.
So I wanted to ask you, Josh.
Yes.
Do you use Falcon for your institutional buyers?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wondered.
Yeah. Falcon is so fastcashoffers.ai is my white label version or enterprise version of iList, which the new dashboard interface is Falcon. It's called Falcon. For those wondering about the jargon, which that perfectly kind of ties up and gives me a coming in for a landing point here. Monday, the email that I scheduled is sending them to a dashboard that is driven by Falcon. Yesterday, I should have sent the BUP text. I didn't get to it until today. I sent it this morning before we actually went live. I need to go back throughout the day today and get back to all of those responses. And then tomorrow I will send, and I'll demonstrate how I do that here live, what I would call like the money email. Because if you only do the first two, you can still, from the conversations you have from the bump text, you might still uncover opportunity, but you will uncover a lot more in step 3. And in fact, this is silly, but I didn't do this 3-step plan or action plan in December. Busy, holidays, whatever. The last time I did it in November, I have taken 2 listings from that sequence in doing it in November. So,
Josh, that's the Loom video that you were teaching how you're doing and showing them the cash offers, but pitching the listing.
No, that great clarifying question. So let me.
And I was going to ask you to drop the link to that because Smarties, we're doing it with Dub, but I want to use what you're doing rather than the way Smarties doing it because you're really pitching more your listing, which is what I want to do.
Okay, so these weren't great. Another reason why, again, I felt like the last couple of days have looked like this. These were not my best effort, in my opinion. But I'll drop these in the chat. Dana, Carol is one that I talked to live yesterday. So that was not Dana, Diana. And I'll drop another one. And you know what? Actually, here's what I'll do. I will drop. Where is? I'll put this doc, which just has some cool infographics, but it also has 2 that I would say are better examples. Why can't I do this? That are better examples of the Loom videos that I send in as follow-up. They're at the bottom here. Okay. The 3-step process that started with the email to get people to look at their dashboard. Step 2 was the bump text today. Step 3 is simply an email, a text-only email. Answer your phone, part of my principles. Hello, this is Josh. They got me. Scammers. I answered, but you never know. You never know, right? Anyway, the 3-step. So step 1 is an email that is the only intent is to get them to go and look at their dashboard. Step 2 is the bump text. The example this morning, I didn't even actually share the script. Here's the script. The text script. It's also in that document, which I can share. What the heck? Where is it? Hey, Joe, we sent you an email yesterday morning with an updated parentheses computer generated value for your property at street address. Just making sure you got it. Thanks. Well, just tell me what your offer is. Okay. You bet. I'll send you a video in a couple minutes. And now I'm probably going to have to do that. I'm running out of time to do that now because I got to make good on something else that we're doing. Dana, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask. So I have a potential buyer, and I was wondering what you used yesterday to get the cash offer prices.
Oh, fastcashoffers.ai, fastcashoffers.ai, and well, I mean, this is actually you teed this up perfectly because that is what I think I've already pulled Joe's property up in here, but I can't remember what it was or when that was. 128 North 2nd Street. 128 North 2nd Street. Sherrystown. So fastcashoffers.ai does a number of different things, but this is one of the most valuable as far as I'm concerned, and actually being able to turn hand raisers, existing property owners, into either listings or opportunities to sell off market. Stuart, go ahead. Sorry.
I said, is that geographic specific?
Is what?
For your area, using fastcashoffers.ai, or
nope.
if you had something in Georgia or Florida or whatever.
Oh, it works anywhere in the U.S. Now, what's different is in your market, you will actually see more offer options. You'll see Homeward, Easy Street. I feel like there's one other one that I don't have in my market. So you'll see even more institutional buyers. For me, the value is not. How do I want to frame this? I said this yesterday, so I'll say it again. Because it's not like I'm not disparaging any of these. I've never actually closed a deal with these institutional buyers. And also, it has helped me close a ton more deals. In other words, I haven't actually closed one with QuickBuy or Zoodealio or Zoomkasa. I've used them as a way to create more conversations, to demonstrate more potential value. And in most cases, we end up pivoting to either I'll sell it off market directly to a local buyer, or let's go on the open market, 7-day stress-free home sale. We'll get you the same or better result, faster, cleaner, easier. There was one other thing I was going to say with that. Oh, all of that said, Shay McGee, he is a rock star in my EXP organization. I need to follow up with him because he had a quick buy deal that was settling in late December that he was getting paid big time on. And it was providing a great value and solution to the homeowners. Like it was an ideal solution for them. And he was making, I don't know if I should talk about commissions, but like north of 30,000 in GCI on just the one deal. I need to I'm going to write that down so I don't forget to check in with Shay, because once it closed, I wanted to get back with him and turn that into a little case study. Susan, and then I have to wrap and tell you all what you can do next if you're interested.
Yeah, so this is real quick. I looked at fast cash offers yesterday. We have to do a demo to be able to sign up for that, or do you have a direct link? Is it something you're an affiliate for?
Mhm. Well, no, this is my version of it. So,
Oh.
yeah,
Duh.
you can't sign up from fastcashoffers.ai?
No, it's making you
Said
do
I
a
had to book
demo.
a demo. See that book a demo?
Daggone it. I should know that.
I'm lazy.
hold on.
I didn't want to book a demo.
Hold
I bought two
on.
and
No,
a half
I don't want you to book a demo. I mean, unless you want a demo, obviously. But here's the direct link. 21-day free trial. 21-day free trial, and then it's $99 a month. After that, there's no contracts, long-term commitments, anything like that. There's also a lead capture script add-on that you can use. That there is a cost per lead for that. You get 15 free. You don't have to use it though. You can turn off that functionality. Like you don't have to use that piece, or you could only use that piece. Like if you only want to use that, you can just use that piece of the tool. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Maybe that was just
No,
nice.
I just
What happened to
said
my video?
thanks. I was confused yesterday.
I'm an idiot. So I have this.
Josh,
I have this here.
drop that doc with the 3 steps that you're doing for sending that offer.
Yeah. Sorry, and I need to let me close the loop on that, and also indicate I was like, what happened to my webcam? I have this little thing, and I had slid it, and I had it over the webcam, and I was like, why can't I see myself? It's because I'm a doofus. Anyway, let me close the loop on that, and then I do have to tell you guys, for those interested, what to do next. So this doc, I'll drop this doc as well. This just has 3 different emails, texts. It has 3 each of an initial email, a bump text, and then a money email. And the money emails they're not magical, but once I started doing this piece of the puzzle, it actually started turning into repeatable new listing clientele. Option 1, email 1, quick subject line, quick question, and then it's like a survey style email. It's text only. Option 2, what did you think? Very short and sweet. The PS, that's where the opportunities come from. Any interest in exploring some of the offer options. Email 3, this is what I call my reverse psychology scripting. You're probably not ready to sell right now, Harry, but when the time is right to move on from street address, will you be staying in the area or relocating elsewhere? And you'll get some people that are like, well, actually, we're thinking about selling, whatever. And all conversion happens in conversation. It's just that conversations might be by phone, they might be by text, they might be by email, they might be, some other direct message, right? Some kind of conversation. Okay. If you haven't had enough me, in 18 minutes, we're doing I've had a Wednesday mastermind going for years now. And today we're doing something a little different. Stephanie Nold has volunteered to do what we're calling a deal sprint. So I'm taking my 3-step blueprint, and Stephanie is going to be the guinea pig, and we're going to do that work live. And however messy or whatever it looks like, we're gonna find a deal. We're gonna do outreach to the active buyers, and then hopefully either be scheduling times to see that one, or we might even get to doing outreach to off-market sellers because she talked to this buyer, that buyer, whatever, and it'll be recorded. We're gonna document it. If you want to join us in the Zoom room, I'll drop that in the chat. And if you've had enough of me for the day, I totally understand. Anyway, I'm going to regroup for 15 minutes, then I'll pop on there. Here's what I would say. If you decide to join me for that, commit right now to do it with us. In other words, don't just be a viewer, be a participant. because I'm going to tell her, go do this. And then you all can go do that. And then we're going to go do this. And you all can do that and go do this. And if you don't have, she is a Lead Deck Founders Club member. So some of what we're going to do would require you to have access to that. But I will give you free strategies that you can implement alternatively if you don't have that. Or you could just sign up.
Josh, will you have a recording that we can get later?
Yep. So, and Campbell, just since you asked, the plan is I want to do a bunch of these deal sprints with different participants so that we can feed a knowledge base and make it like anti-fragile. Like, you know, we had so-and-so over here that did this kind of deal and so-and-so over here that did this kind of deal. And so create something that anyone using the platform can go and get help and support. And we can build that into the deal sprint onboarding process with the tool as well.
Got it. I'm probably going to listen in while you're doing it, but we're heading to go drop signs and we got to send out direct mail. We got a whole bunch of crap we got to do.
Beautiful.
So I will not participate, but I'll probably listen.
Beautiful.
I'm
Sean
gonna
just
I'm gonna
also
send emails and texts from my phone from the doctor's office with my daughter.
Giddy up. And Sean just let me know, vacant land sellers, it's beta version. Vacant land sellers is he just added to the tool, the app this morning as well. Or actually he just texted me. Anyway, thank you all. I will
Thanks,
see
Josh.
hopefully some of you,
See you, pal.
and appreciate the questions and
Thanks,
all that
Josh.
good stuff. Thank you.